Life unfolds with unexpected twists and turns that catch you off guard. As I sat in the small hotel room that evening, accompanied only by Gary, thoughts began to swirl in my mind. The absence of my husband Logan, who has been in another city for the past few months, has woven a tapestry of tension in my life. I felt his absence, undeniably, yet it was more than just the void he left behind. It was his indifference, his disinterest, that truly lay at the heart of the matter. Solitary nights gnawed at the very essence of my being. But how could I have foreseen that asking my stepson Gary to take me to see Dad would lead to us being confined in a hotel room together? A cramped little space with just one bed. Little did I know what was on the horizon. Allow me to share the tale from its inception, every intricate detail woven into the narrative. Believe me, the conclusion of this tale is bound to be far more thrilling than you anticipate. That morning, as I stepped out of the house, I caught a fleeting reflection of myself in the mirror. I felt the tension, sure, but I still had that undeniable charm. Even with Logan's departure leaving me in solitude, a spark of desirability lingered within me. A reminder that I was still very much alive, yet, even those emotions no longer held the power they once did. They failed to fulfill me. As the morning light filtered through the kitchen, Gary was savoring the last bites of his breakfast when I, lurking just behind him, called out his name. As the summer draws to a close and the adventure of college awaits, it's essential to hone your driving skills. Come on, lead me to your father. He gazed up at me, that familiar mischievous grin lighting up his face as it always did. Gary was a delightful child, full of charm and humor. Yet he had a knack for stirring up mischief every now and then. All right, stepmom, he said with a playful grin. But only if you promise to tell Dad to get me a better car for the summer. We'll discuss it, I declared with a firm tone, ushering him away. Yet, deep down, my thoughts lingered on a singular desire to simply see this journey through to its end. But I was completely unaware that the journey would take an unexpected turn. After 2 hours on the road, our journey was well underway. In the back seat, I found myself lost in the glow of my phone, while Gary, ever the entertainer, filled the air with his off-key hums to a tune drifting from the radio. Every so often, he'd toss out a joke, the kind that only he seemed to find amusing, his laughter ringing out like a solo performance in an empty theater. In an instant, the car emitted a dreadful sound, a hissing noise, and then it fell silent, lifeless. What unfolds before us? I inquired, making an effort to keep my composure. I think the car broke down, Gary muttered, pulling over to the side of the road, his annoyance palpable. In that moment, we found ourselves ensnared in the vast expanse of the unknown. The signal on my phone flickered like a dying ember, and the desolate surroundings offered no companionship or aid. For 2 long hours, we found ourselves locked in a heated debate, reaching out to every mechanic we could track down, desperately trying to mend the stubborn contraption. At last, we came to terms with the undeniable truth. As the evening drew near, the sole choice left was to seek refuge for the night at the nearest motel. At the motel reception, while Gary engaged in conversation with the man at the desk, I lingered behind him, my frustration simmering just beneath the surface. Should Logan catch wind of this, I knew he would absolutely flip out. Yet in that peculiar instant, it seemed to me that it didn't hold much significance. Deep down, I felt an undeniable certainty that tonight would be a turning point. Before this tale takes an even wilder turn, be sure to subscribe to my channel and activate those notifications. Believe me, you really don't want to forgo the remainder of this. As we reach the conclusion, I would greatly appreciate your support. Share your thoughts in the comments and sprinkle those likes generously. As we stepped into the room and swung the door wide, all my hopes crumbled into ashes. The space was small, just enough to pivot within its confines. One bed, one nightstand, a soft glow. The overhead light flickered, casting a dim glow that rendered everything in a dreary hue. The ceiling loomed low, the AC struggled to breathe, and the solitary window offered nothing but a view of the parking lot. This is it, I whispered, a tinge of disappointment in my voice. Gary strolled in behind me, chuckling softly. What did you anticipate? A luxurious accommodation. Take a deep breath, stepmom, it's merely one evening. That playful lilt once more, that familiar grin. It drove me crazy, yet simultaneously, it ignited a feeling within me that I couldn't quite put into words. And even though I loathed to acknowledge it, the notion of finding myself here with Gary tonight didn't feel so terrible after all. As I moved forward, I could hear Gary's laughter trailing in behind me. What did you envision? A luxurious 5-star hotel. We find ourselves in this place for but a fleeting evening. Take a deep breath, stepmom. The playful lilt in his voice, coupled with that mischievous grin, only deepened my sense of irritation. Yet, I found it hard to claim that I completely despised Gary's easygoing, relaxed demeanor existing. There was something about him that stirred a feeling within me. a kind of excitement that I couldn't quite grasp, even if I would never confess it. The sweltering heat is unbearable, I exclaimed as I rubbed the back of my neck in exasperation. I believe it's time for a refreshing shower, or else I might find myself in quite a predicament. I'm really about to lose consciousness. Of course, Gary replied nonchalantly, flopping onto the bed and stretching out on his back. This is your realm, Carmen, embrace what you must to find your comfort and belonging. I cast a fleeting look in his direction. Second, his lean yet toned frame, combined with the subtle boyishness of his face, bestowed upon him a peculiar charm that was hard to resist, yet, I swiftly endeavored to cast that thought aside. He was the son of Logan, after all, my young companion. As I entered the bathroom, I gently closed the door, sealing off the world outside. For a fleeting moment, I found myself captivated by the image staring back at me from the mirror. Despite the heat causing my hair to cling to my skin, I still managed to look quite good. The spark within me still flickered brightly. As I turned on the shower, I allowed the water to cascade down, stepping beneath its embrace, yearning for it to cleanse the turmoil of feelings swirling within me. At 47 years of age, I reflected on the passage of time, realizing that Gary is no longer a child. At 22, he's on the brink of a new chapter, ready to embark on his college journey. And here we find ourselves, sharing this cramped hotel room for a few days. The notion stirred a mix of unease and exhilaration within me, a feeling that eluded precise description. Logan danced into my thoughts. Logan, I had a little surprise in store for you. I long to be in your presence, to share moments together, yet here I find myself, confined within this hotel room alongside your son, grappling with a whirlwind of emotions that I can't quite decipher. The steam enveloped the small bathroom, a warm embrace that soothed my body while my mind danced with thoughts. Gary's grin, his easygoing nature, it ignited an unexpected spark within me. As I stood beneath the cascading water, uncertainty enveloped me. I couldn't quite grasp what this spark might evolve into, yet I felt the unmistakable stirrings of change in the air. Eventually, I made my way downstairs for dinner, hoping to clear my mind a little. She adorned herself in a light, flowy dress, a whisper of fabric that danced around her as she moved. It was just right for the warmth, yet it also brought a sense of comfort to my spirit. I found myself attempting to dispel this peculiar tension that lingered in the air. The hotel restaurant exuded a charming simplicity, perfectly suited for a space of this modest size. As I settled in, I chose a light meal accompanied by a glass of wine, seeking a moment of tranquility. The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting a gentle twilight, while the streetlights outside the hotel began to shimmer with a warm, inviting glow. As I sat there, my thoughts drifted inevitably to the room above, a place filled with echoes of the past. Curiosity tugged at me as I pondered the current endeavors of Gary, one who brimmed with restlessness and vitality, likely found little joy in being confined within the narrow walls of a small room. Yet, there was something about his relaxed demeanor, so effortless and carefree, that stirred a tempest within me, leaving me perplexed and unable to articulate why it drove me to distraction. As the last sip of wine slipped away, I cast one last look at my plate before ascending the stairs, each step deliberate and unhurried. As I stepped into the room, a profound silence enveloped me. As I swung the door open, the scene that unfolded before me took my breath away, leaving me momentarily speechless. Gary had just stepped out of the shower, the steam still lingering in the air, and now he lay on the bed, wrapped in a robe, utterly lost to the world. His robe hung loosely, parting just enough to showcase the contours of his lean, fit physique. His damp hair tumbled over his forehead and a subtle smile danced on his lips, as if he were lost in a dream. My heart began to race. It was the final surprise that awaited me as I stepped inside. For a fleeting moment, I stood still by the door, caught in a web of uncertainty about my next move. Within me, a curious blend of feelings stirred, each vying for attention. Though a blush crept across my cheeks, my gaze remained irresistibly drawn to him. Carmen, what on earth are you up to? Behold, the child of Logan, I chastised myself within, yet my gaze revealed my secret. Captivated by the section of his robe that had fallen further ajar, what I witnessed ignited a gentle warmth within my soul. The cramped confines of the room only deepened the sense of unease. There existed no other bed. It was a choice between surrendering to slumber beside him, or enduring the long hours of the night in a chair. In this sweltering heat, the mere idea of a chair felt utterly unattainable. As I entered the room, I moved with caution, the steady, rhythmic sound of Gary's breathing enveloping the atmosphere. As I inhaled deeply, seeking clarity, the tumult within me swirled, rendering coherent thought an elusive dream. I needed to gather my strength. All right, Carmen, I whispered under my breath, It's merely a single night, nothing beyond that. This holds no significance. In my quest to bring joy to Logan, I find myself ensnared in an unexpected predicament. Stay composed, maintain your focus. I ventured a few steps closer to the bed, my gaze fixed on Gary. The pure expression on his face only served to weave my already tangled thoughts into an even more intricate web. As I settled onto the edge of the bed, a wave of uncertainty washed over me, leaving me to ponder how I would navigate the darkness of the night ahead. In the stillness of the night, a gentle sound stirred me from my slumber. I gently cracked my eyelids, just enough to take in my surroundings. The chamber. I observed Gary moving restlessly on the bed. He appeared to be in a daze, his fingers weaving through his hair as he lightly scratched his head. I found myself observing him, my eyelids only slightly parted, feigning a lingering drowsiness. Yet, within me, a storm raged, far from the tranquility I portrayed. In that moment, I sensed his gaze upon me. My heart began to race. He was observing my every move. I endeavored to sustain the facade, preserving the drowsy expression upon my visage and remaining motionless, yet within me, a whirlwind of energy swirled, released the clasp of his garment. As it fell away, the robe cascaded from his shoulders, unveiling the sculpted form of his youthful physique. The subtle dance of his muscles with each movement ignited an unexpected warmth within me. I found myself unable to hold back. At that very instant, a profound understanding dawned upon me, revealing two significant truths. I found myself swept away by the unfolding events, and a part of me was reluctant to intervene. From the depths of the wardrobe, Gary retrieved a pair of shorts, ready to embrace the day ahead. As he went about his task, he frequently cast glances in my direction, as though he were attempting to discern if I was truly awake. His appearance ignited a thrill within me. I was striving to keep my secrets close. Yet in that very instant, I surrendered entirely to the magic of the moment. Once he slipped into his shorts, he never returned to the warmth of the bed. Instead, he settled into the chair in the corner of the room and began to observe me closely. The intensity of his gaze was both unsettling and awakened something ineffable deep within me. I lay there with my eyes closed, feigning slumber. Yet I wondered how much longer I could maintain this charade. At last, I reached my limit and propped myself up. As our gazes locked, I steadied my voice, ensuring it held no quiver as I confessed, with all the honesty I could muster. You're igniting such excitement within me. Once upon a time, there was a character named Gary. I sensed those words linger in the atmosphere. In that instant, I realized that nothing would ever return to its former state. Gary's eyes sparkled momentarily, then he inhaled deeply and began to weave his tale. I don't know, Carmen, he said, his voice low but steady. We've been dwelling beneath the same. It's been a while since I've had a roof over my head, ever since my dad left. As our moments intertwine, my feelings for you deepen with each shared experience. Unbeknownst to you, there are moments when my admiration for you slips through the cracks, revealing itself in the most unexpected ways. At this moment, it seems as though I am wandering through a vivid dreamscape. His words took me by surprise, yet they also ignited a spark within me. Gary kept his gaze fixed, unwavering, his gaze locked onto mine, brimming with a sincerity and fervor that utterly enchanted me. In the quiet hours of the morning, I must rise to tend to the car that awaits repair, he continued, though his voice carried the weight of self-persuasion. Yet his gaze remained steadfast, unwavering in the slightest. But at this moment, I simply cannot look away from you, Carmen. For the first time, a feeling unlike any other washes over me. My heart raced with anticipation. In that moment, I found myself at the edge of the bed, settling into the chair that faced him directly. My gaze intertwined with his. The connection we shared was so powerful that it transcended the need for spoken language. We lingered in silence for a heartbeat before I pursed my lips ever so slightly and locked my gaze onto him. Gary, I spoke with a measured tone, my voice laced with both intrigue and a hint of provocation. Are we on the same page here? Gary's gaze deepened, as if he yearned to experience this moment through emotions rather than mere words. He remained silent, yet the expression in his eyes conveyed everything. And that was the moment I understood there was no turning back for us. As I gazed into his eyes, a wave of bravery and irresistible longing surged within me. The blend of uncertainty and fervor in his gaze only drew me in deeper. With a deep breath, I began to speak once more, my voice steady yet resolute, capturing his complete focus. As I entered the room, I found you peacefully lost in slumber. Your robe hung slightly ajar, and I found myself captivated by your presence. It touched me deeper than I anticipated. We cannot escape these emotions deep down. We are both aware of that truth, with my words lingering in the atmosphere. I took a deliberate step forward and gradually rose to my feet. His gaze tracked my every motion, his breath growing more rapid. Excitement surged through me. and I found it impossible to contain. As my fingers grazed the sash of my dress, I slowly untied it, each movement drawing a noticeable shift in his breathing. I believe I murmured, my voice softening to a hush, "We must find balance, Gary." I carefully unfastened the zipper at the back of my dress. The fabric gracefully slipped from my shoulders, cascading down to the floor in a delicate dance. The refreshing breeze caressed my skin, intensifying the fire that raged within me. The gaze in his eyes conveyed everything: distance, reverence, and an irresistible allure that beckoned him closer. The stillness enveloping us transformed into a connection, our breaths intertwining seamlessly as we held each other's gaze. I ventured another step closer to him. "Now," I whispered softly, "let's discover if we're truly on the same page." Gary's gaze remained fixed on me, his expression unwavering and brimming with intensity. In an instant, he rose to his feet, his eyes locked onto mine, and illuminated the room with a flick of the switch. The room was awash in a warm glow as he approached and secured the door behind him. My heart began to race. In that instant, it seemed as if time itself had come to a standstill, isolating just the two of us in our own universe. As he approached, I felt my breath catch in my throat. He appeared to be searching my eyes for answers, yet he was acutely conscious of the space that lay between us. As he approached, his hands gently settled on my waist, and the warmth of his touch surged through me like an electric current. Silently, he drew closer, his gaze fixated on my lips. I remained silent. I was unable to. All of this unfolded effortlessly, as if it were destined to be. As our lips finally connected, the tension within me dissolved into nothingness. His kiss unfolded gently, a journey of discovery, yet it brimmed with an unmistakable fervor. My hands instinctively reached for his shoulders, embracing their strength and warmth that enveloped me. The distance that once separated us vanished entirely as our breaths intertwined. That moment was a vivid eruption of all the feelings we had kept hidden from each other. Gary's vibrant spirit and youthful exuberance intertwined with the profound passion I had nurtured throughout the years. It was the dawn of a new chapter, a moment filled with both dread and excitement. That night, the truth of our feelings for one another could no longer be concealed. I surrendered to the softness of the bed, my body weary from the day's trials. Yet my thoughts danced wildly, refusing to settle. My breathing remained unsteady. As my foot glided over the soft fabric of my dress, it lay gracefully on the floor. A silent witness to the moment, Gary's eyes were upon me, an intense and silent energy emanating from his gaze. A moment later, he bent down and picked up the dress, his fingers gently gliding over the spot where my foot had rested. Even that simple action ignited something within me. As he grasped the dress for a moment, I caught a glimpse of uncertainty dancing across his features. With a surge of resolve, he swiftly set the dress aside. His hands glided to the edge of the bed. With deliberate care, he ascended onto the mattress, each motion measured and purposeful, thoughtful and intentional. As he approached, the look on his face revealed a whirlwind of emotions, a captivating blend of thrill and undeniable allure. As I reclined on the opposite side of the bed, I sensed Gary's presence nearby. My heart raced, and my breaths grew deeper. As I caught sight of him leaning in my direction, it struck me that the space that once separated us had nearly vanished. It felt like the world had come to a pivotal moment. There was no turning back. What surged within me at that moment was nothing short of overwhelming. It filled me with both pain and exhilaration all at once. As I gazed upward, the ceiling revealed Gary's face to me. He captivated me as he gently swept his hair back from his forehead, with a graceful motion of his hand. In his eyes, the emotions Gary felt were unmistakable. He was ablaze with excitement, his joy radiating like a vibrant hue. I could see the fervor in his every action, and I was touched by the sight of him, breathless from his efforts. Gary had stirred my feelings to such an extent that I found myself relieved the car had broken down. "I'll never forget this hotel," Gary said, his voice trembling, each word escaping him like a weighty secret. Like a gentle inhalation, his gaze was fixed upon me, yet his hands trembled ever so slightly. His body was taut, muscles coiling with each movement, every action a touch more deliberate and exacting, as though he wished to grasp a fleeting moment in time. "I surely wish for my father to hold onto the car, for he included." Following those words, he allowed himself to sink down beside me, eyes gently shut, silent as he awaited the return of his breath. Weariness enveloped me, leaving me without the strength to utter a single word. My legs trembled uncontrollably, and I was blissfully unaware of how I had drifted into slumber. The following morning, Gary made his way back. With the car repaired, he informed me that we had to collect Logan and make our way to the city. As we journeyed along the road, a swirl of regret and conflicting emotions enveloped me. Yet simultaneously, An exhilarating thrill surged within me. As I gazed upon Gary, his eyes sparkled with stories untold. His actions danced with meaning, and every facet of him unfolded like a narrative waiting to be shared. Was influencing me, all was shrouded in complexity, and yet the future remained a tantalizing mystery to me. The questions danced in my mind, vying for attention. While the thrill of the moment surged within me, once upon a time, there existed but a single one. The one certainty I held was that this journey would mark the moment when everything transformed. If you've journeyed this far, I can sense the thrill my tale has ignited within you. Be sure to stay connected, tap that follow button, enable notifications, and become part of our journey by sharing your thoughts. Share your thoughts on this tale. I eagerly anticipate your reflections.